Hi, my name is Phoebe Cheong. I am a photographer based in New York City, specializing in fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. So my journey for photography basically started in high school, where my art teacher kind of just handed me a camera and was like, "Oh, why don't you just try taking some photos?" And I was trying different mediums in my art class, and I just couldn't find that specific medium, and photography kind of found me, I believe. And through that, I found that there was a whole platform where I was able to go to school for, learn more. And, I went to university for commercial photography, and that was what I pretty much specialized in, which was commercial photography. So in advertising, basically selling some sort of product or brand. And during the course, I personally specialized in fashion while I was at university. However, after graduating, I stuck to my fashion, but I started kind of experimenting more on beauty and lifestyle. I had kind of like dabbled into lifestyle, especially coming to New York, where a lot of brands and companies were very much into the relatable and lifestyle content. So yeah, this is where I am now. I'm working with fashion and beauty brands and photographing lifestyle content. Actually moving to New York, I met a client and we actually bonded really well. And it was basically one of my favorite projects. I worked with her. We still are working together. And what we do is we feature and photograph people who are entrepreneurs, businesswomen, small businesses, and we basically feature them with bigger brands on their products, on their personalities, of their own business, and just being able to work with a client who, understands my time, being flexible with time, and also being able to honor my creativity when we're shooting is very important to me. So, and on top of that, kind of photographing all these amazing people was very inspiring. So this is probably like my favorite project that I've worked with so far. So I think in terms of finding my style as an artist, it's kind of finding your style for fashion, the clothes that you wear. I think in the beginning, when you're younger, you slowly have to kind of experiment and develop kind of like the style that you like and like everything in life, I think it's just kind of trying things out. And once you try it out, you kind of know. And I think through my photography, that's what happened. I tried different styles. I tried different kind of like filters. And I was like, okay, I'm not loving these, too colorful filters. So I kind of pulled it back and I realized, I was like, wow, this is, I feel like this is my aesthetic. And I personally really like clean things. So I kind of just found that clean, fresh, bright look for my own work. So the first thing I would usually ask is what type of images they're going to use for their brand or their personal uses. And from there, we kind of generate like a mood board, and obviously talk about pricing. That's always very important. And also seeing kind of like if they have a certain deadline or a certain timeline that we have to meet for the project that we're working on. And from there, we start planning the photo shoot, whether if sometimes it could be in a day, sometimes it can be a week. My dream client will be a month in advance, but that never happens. But majority of time, so once we book the shoot and they come in or I go to them, we do the photo shoot. Once the shoot is done, everyone's happy, we go home. I will then unload the pictures from my camera and basically upload it, edit them a little bit, send it to the client, have them select them. And once they've selected it, they're happy, my job will be done. So being a freelance photographer, a lot of people don't really know about the artist industry as a freelancer. And, day to day, my days can be very different. A lot of people think that as a photographer, you just click the button and then you just print pictures and you give it to clients, and that's not the case. You're also, kind of like a support system for your client sometimes. You're also a therapist sometimes for the person you're photographing with. But on the back end of things, you're not only also producing, you're editing, sometimes you're even creative directing. And then for post-production, you're also editing these photos. So at the end, you are also your agent and you are also, your own boss. So there's a lot of things in the back end of being a freelance photographer. The biggest advice I can give anybody, and it was actually given to me by my English teacher, Mr. Clark, in high school. He basically told us to make mistakes. And I think that was the biggest advice that anybody could give me, because, if I didn't make mistakes, especially in university, and I think that's pretty much the prime time that you should make mistakes, whether, if you're in the beginning of uni or if you're even in uni, like around that age, that's the great time to kind of make mistakes, because once you get into the real world, it's harder to make mistakes and you're going to get hold off for making those mistakes. Whereas, because you're young, people will forgive you a little better. So that's pretty much the best advice I could give anybody, is to make mistakes. So just know that everyone's journey is very different. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like I said before, definitely be proactive with what you do. Never give up, as corny as it is. It's very true. I would also tell you to just keep trying and know your strengths and utilize that strength, because once you know what your strengths are, you're able to really exceed onto what you want to do. And, if you want to learn, utilize the things that are around you. You don't need to, pay necessarily for something. You can look it up on YouTube. You guys are very fortunate now that there's, the web, where we're able to do research, watch videos. Also, don't be afraid to communicate with people. I feel like we are losing a lot of that right now, and being able to talk to somebody and ask them questions, I think that is the biggest way to find information for free. So yeah, and when you ever have doubts, just know that you're never alone.